Howdy y'all, Tex here. I will be through hiking the Appalachian Trail this year, starting in early to mid-March from Georgia. And in today's video, I'd like to review with you what I'll be eating for food while on the trail. Now this is just one approach to backpacking food. It is not going to work for everybody, but this is what is currently working well for me. I tend to focus on ready-to-eat foods that are high in calories, and I also try to get in some protein at lunch and at dinner. That being said, this food is far from being healthy, and I just wait till I get to town, and there I focus on getting in some additional fruits, vegetables, and eating healthier. A big disclaimer here, I do go stoveless on trail. Ever since I started backpacking, I have never carried a stove. In fact, I've never even purchased one. I don't like to cook at home. I like to keep it simple and not even cook on trail. So I look to foods that are ready to eat. I think it's faster and more convenient and more enjoyable for me to just eat ready-to-eat foods. Now let's talk quickly about resupply boxes. Some people choose to pack boxes with some resupply items, including mostly food, and ship it to themselves up the trail where they can collect it along the way. I personally do not have any dietary restrictions. These boxes are a lot of work to put together, and there's a lot of logistics in shipping them and picking them up as well. I just don't want to have to deal with that. And I like the idea of being able to purchase what I'm craving at that exact moment. So for all those reasons, I personally will not be sending myself resupply boxes. I'll strictly be resupplying from stores along the trail. Some people may wonder, how do you know how much to buy, how much food to bring with you? Well, I do it by deciding how many number of days I'm going to be out on the trail. So first of all, I decide where is my next resupply going to be. I decide how many miles I'll be hiking per day. So I try to plan out where I'm going to be staying each night. And from there, I have my number of days. When I get to a store and I'm purchasing items, I decide what meal I'm going to be eating that item for. So I designate it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. And once I have all of those meals and snacks filled up, I can stop purchasing. So this way I don't over purchase, but I'm sure that I have the exact amount of food that I'll need. A lot of people have also already heard of the hiker hunger. Now, I have not hit that yet. The longest distance I've backpacked in one stretch was 1 month, and that was last year on the Appalachian Trail. I made it to Irwin, Tennessee before I went home per the advice of the ATC. At that point, I had not yet had hiker hunger, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to be eating the number of calories that we'll discuss here in just a second. And with that, let's take a closer look at the food. Okay, let's talk about my food for the very first stretch of trail. Last year I did the approach trail, and my first resupply was at Neal's Gap at Mountain Crossings. That took me 3 days, and I was happy with that mileage. I'll be repeating that exact same stretch again this year. So I have 3 days worth of food here. And let's go through meal by meal what I'll be eating. For breakfast, I like to eat before leaving camp so that I'm ready for the day. I can hit the trail. I'm not the type of person that has a nice leisurely breakfast, so I have something that's very fast. And I found that I, so far, like to have some type of donut-y, pastry type things. So for this stretch, I'm going to have Entenmann's mini cakes. I'll have 2 since their size is kind of small to get the kind of calorie count I need from the morning. Other items I've had that I've liked are bear claws or Texas cinnamon rolls or honey buns. For lunch, I enjoy sitting down, taking my pack off, hopefully at a shelter, and getting some rest while I have my lunch. However, since I started late February last year, this year I'll be starting early mid-March. It's still going to be cold on some days. Some days are going to be raining and cold, and if you stop for too long, your body temperature drops too much. So it's really in your best interest to keep moving. So I've learned that until it warms up, it's a good idea for your lunches to be something that you could eat on the go should you need to, or at least eat very quickly. I also like to try to get in a protein source for lunch and dinner. So for this stretch, I have some beef jerky. Since the packets don't have too much in them, they're kind of small, I have 2 packets of beef jerky. Other items I've sometimes have for lunch, but it takes a little bit longer, are summer sausage and cheese. Wrap that up in a tortilla. I love to have individual cups of hummus to go with that. Then I try to have something else that's pretty calorie dense to round out the meal. In this stretch, I'll be having Bobo's apple pies. And something you'll find out pretty quickly about me is that I have a horrible sweet tooth. I love candy, I love chocolate. I like to have desserts. So my lunchtime dessert, I always make sure I have some candy in there. In this case, a Milky Way or a Twix. Dinner time, I like to wait until I get to a shelter. And again, a protein source. So for this stretch, I have tuna. I have 2 different flavors for both of my days. I also like Spam, that does pretty well for me. Or again, the summer sausage and cheese. I'll pack 1 tortilla per day to wrap that up in, and take 1 mayonnaise packet for each dinner for a few extra calories. I have 1 bag of chips per dinner. If I cannot eat the entire bag, I am okay with having leftovers the next day. And while it's still cold, I found it's important to have a snack with some extra fat in it right before you go to bed. That helps keep your internal combustion going, help you keep yourself warm throughout the cold night. So I have an Oreo cookie snack pack for each night. And my favorite part of the day is snack time. I found that if I try to fuel myself every 2 hours, that keeps my energy level up high, keeps my morale, my spirits high, and I don't bonk out to where my energy gets too low. So I try to pack 4 different types of candies per day. That's either 2 candy bars or a candy bar and an energy bar. For me, a fruit snack, and then the Mentos. So stretch 1, I have Almond Joy, one of my favorites, or Milky Ways. I have a Cliff Bar, Nerds Gummy Clusters, which I'm very excited about. Just found these. I'm a big fan of the Nerds rope. This seems to be just cut up pieces of Nerds rope. And then Mentos is my morale booster. I eat just 1 or 2 of them whenever I'm hiking, just need a little pick-me-up. This does the trick for me. Day 2 is essentially an exact carbon copy of day 1 with a little variation on the flavors. Day number 3, I have the exact same thing. You'll notice I don't have a dinner. That's because I plan to reach mountain crossings, get my resupply done, and also pick up a dinner for day number 3 there, so I won't have to carry it. Also important to get your electrolytes in. I try to drink 1 bottle of electrolytes per day. I do enjoy this Mio Sport. Noon also makes some little tablets that are quite good. And I always try to carry just a little bit of extra fuel in case it's going to take me a little longer than expected. This little bag of granola is 300 calories, so this is going to be my backup emergency food. It's also nice to have in case you run into somebody that's running low on food. If you don't need this, perhaps someone else will. If you're interested in calorie counts, let's go over that real quickly. Breakfast, for the 2 snack cakes, it's 360 calories total. The lunch items altogether are 520. The dinner, including the tortillas, are a whopping 920 calories. And then the 4 snacks, 870. So for an entire day, my total would be 2,670 calories. Now for a person of my height and weight on a normal day, I eat about 1,600 calories. So that sounds about right for the start of my hike. A lot of people bulk up on calories because they think they're going to be starving right away. Remember, hiker hunger takes some time to kick in, so this should do me pretty well for the start. And let's talk about how I pack the food. First of all, the snacks for the day, I like to keep in my hip belt pocket for easy access. They're ready to grab and go. My lunches, I like to pack in their own quart-size Ziploc bag. And then I pack my lunch away within an additional gallon Ziploc bag with the rest of the day's food. So each day I have a different bag. I picked this tip up from Darwin on the Trail, and it really works for me. I know it's not going to work for everyone, but the reason I like this is that this is what I have to eat for the day. I'm not eating anything else. And so that prevents me from overeating and not having enough food further down the trail. And so I'll pack the entire day together. Once it gets to day number 2, I'll take this lunch out. I'll put this in the top of my pack for easy access when I sit down to have lunch. I'm not digging out my entire bear bag. I just grab this from the top of the pack. I have my lunch. And then my breakfast is easily distinguished from my dinner in here. And this system works really good for me. And that's it. Hope y'all found this video helpful. Just want to remind you guys that if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please hit the subscribe button for the channel. If you hit that bell icon, you should be notified of all updates in the future. And if you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button as well. One other thing is that I'm open to doing a Q&A video in the future. So if that's something you're interested in, please drop your questions in the comments below. And thank you guys again for watching. As always, hope y'all are having a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.